My name is Andrew Chen, and this is my assignment and project for CS 4020, project number 2, Robot Ethics by Andrew Chen. Let's begin. So this is my entrance homepage. And you'll find the abstract and purpose of this website alongside with my copyright and contact information. The website's purpose is to discuss the topic of robot ethics within the webpage. I provided a detailed analysis of robots and the ethics surrounding them. I plan to highlight topics regarding robots in manufacturing, surgery, and security. For manufacturing, I plan to examine the relationship between automation and occupations, how automation has forced people into unemployment and caused significant problems. For surgery, I plan to examine robot-assisted human surgery and see the ethical dilemma brought about when examining who is at fault when the robot fails or the human makes a mistake using the robot and harm that comes to the patient. For security, I will examine how security robots may affect a person's privacy and how their gathered data may be used. Then I plan to use a detailed analysis breakdown of each item, going over key points and what makes them complex. I will also add background to the situation and better context on what's going on. After discussing the key issues, I will provide my own personal feedback and a summary to conclude this topic on robot ethics. The purpose of this website is to go over robot ethics in detail, discuss their cause, effect, and ethics surrounding them. Manufacturing, surgery, and privacy will be the top issues to note on for this webpage. There will be also feedback from the interview, background on the issue, and analysis of the issues, my personal thoughts, and references to sources I used. Introduction. As such, you can see my overview of here, how robots are used in a wide variety of different things, and a bunch of different things, such as manufacturing, surgery, and security. Manufacturing has an issue because as you have increasing automation, you have lost jobs, and then you have the issue of who's at fault whenever people get injured by robots. For human-assisted surgery, there's risk and liability involved, such as the casualties involved are inevitable and who is at fault when somebody dies or gets hurt. And finally, the issue with security robots is that they represent breaches in privacy, like a camera watching everyone's move. Current laws protecting privacy can barely go very far and need to be updated accordingly. The issue lies in the fact that robots need to use recording devices in order to progress and adapt. However, there may be breaches of surveillance since people are constantly on the watch. Next, we have the background. We take into account the background of how this all began. Automation is nothing new. First of all, for manufacturing, it's not new, but they do open up new opportunities for people who are actually getting unemployed. For surgical robots, it first began 30 years ago, albeit in recent events, increased casualties call into account their question, their dilemmas. And for security, recent events, people they are supposed to be meant for security. However, they do look at people consistently all the time. They are meant to deter burglars, but they also watch everyone. To give you a better context, you can read more in detail on the webpage, and I can go. But I will see what I can do to go as far as I can within what I can see from my own webpage. For the issues at hand, I was able to create a pro-cons table breakdown and see what's a pro and a con for each. In manufacturing, the overall GDP will actually increase, and there's more productivity to go to. Robots take up jobs that no one will do, and they give humans the opportunity to find new jobs. In surgery, they make surgeries that were impossible possible, and their issues may be fixed over time. For privacy, they may incentivize people and lawmakers to implement regulations on such robots. They also deter thieves and burglars, simply through watching and registering for suspicious behavior. As for negatives, or cons, manufacturing automation does lead to low-skilled occupation or unemployment, and their employers simply cannot go back, making things slightly worse. In surgery, there have been a number of casualties caused as a result of robotic surgery, and if the surgeon is accountable, and the manufacturer could be absolved. And if the manufacturer is held accountable, then the surgeon could be absolved. And privacy, the robots may breach privacy for observing every aspect they see. Spy on everyone by definition. Now here are the results of my interview. For my activity, I interviewed Professor and Department Chair of the Computer Science Department at CSU East Bay, Professor Clayton Matt Johnson. I asked a number of different things from artificial intelligence, topics, Internet of Things, the most interesting of which was the potential of machines to take over human occupations. When inquired, Professor Johnson provided an interesting response, noting that increased automation has inevitably led to unemployment as machines take more and more occupations over time. Workers displaced as a result of automation may find assistance in getting retrained to adapt. He also mentioned that humans, like machines, all have limits, and they cannot do everything. Based on the interview with Professor Johnson, I can identify 2 key points. 1, automation does have limits, and 2, the displacement of workers is a dilemma to address. When Professor Johnson mentioned limits, he notes on how on common ground he takes a note on common ground that humans and machines share. Like machines, humans need energy, resources, and maintenance. They cannot function or go on continuously forever, just like a human. Machines are superior to humans in many facets, but even they have limits. The displacement of workers does not provide to be a serious dilemma. It creates a social issue where people need to be employed, but their former workers cannot decrease productivity. Replacing robots with humans increase productivity at the cost of human employment. These workers need to find employment elsewhere or seek to learn new skills in order to improve and adapt to their changing economic landscape. So, throughout this assignment, it's been rather nice actually. Over the course of the assignment, I found the issues to be discussed rather interesting. In manufacturing, I had always known that automation would inevitably strike down manufacturing. Humans simply cannot keep up, and they are certainly the future. I believe these people should be retrained to find new occupations elsewhere. Seek a higher new education, of course. Ultimately, I'm in favor of automation because it gives people more options to do something that may help to benefit them in the future, rather than manufacturing a product continuously. In surgery, I believe that it is up to the surgeon to be ultimately responsible for their actions. The manufacturer of the robots gave the surgeon specific instructions on what to follow in order to ensure a safe procedure. If the surgeon encounters a problem that is used casually, then they should be held accountable for their actions. There is always a human element involved. Robots cannot be held valuable, since there is always a human element involved. Hence, a surgeon or another human is supposed to maintain and know exactly how the machine functions in order to prevent casualties. In privacy, I have no real issue with surveillance. If someone wants my information, go ahead and take it. There's nothing really I can do against it, and nothing I really want to do against it. Robots built for surveillance may be discomforting for others, but like cameras, there's nothing to stop their progress. They'll come to pass and become a common sight among people. Overall, the assignment was actually really nice. Learned a lot. Actually came to think about this, and it's best to help everyone to move forward together rather than move forward singularly and leave everyone in the dust. But there is no true solution to all this at the end of the day. In conclusion, there's no easy answer for the issues at hand. This is my summary page, by the way. This is my opinions page. This is my results page. My issues page. Pro-con. The background of the issue. The introduction with the overview. The home/starting page. And then this is a summary. Almost forgot to mention all those. So, in a summary, in conclusion, there is no easy answer for the issues at hand. Manufacturing applications will simply not return because there's no incentive for them to return. People need to find new jobs. Something better, maybe. Robot-assisted surgery will always continue because there's always many other things that can happen as a result. Their flaws will be examined and remedied over time, eventually creating a better, safer robot to work with. Privacy will be an issue with some people, but it will change over time. The use of robots incentivizes change in order to accommodate and adjust, eventually reaching a point where people may feel comfortable with robots watching your every move. Or not. The information you gather may be a mystery of what it's done with, but it doesn't seem to harm anyone at this levels of degree. To summarize, the world is changing as automation is becoming more and more prevalent in daily life. As the world changes, people need to change with it, whether through developing new skills, developing laws to address issues, or improving technology over time. The world keeps moving forward, and it's best not to look back on what was in the past and focus on the present and plan accordingly for the future. Next we have my references that are linked accordingly. You can go to any of them to actually find where I got any of this data that were cited. This is in MLA format. Last but not least is the appendix with the list of questions I asked Professor Clayton. To put short, I was authorized to use excerpts, quotes, and paraphrase within reason. As such, the interview was a number of different things that we decided to discuss and talk about in depth. Very enlightening and very nice at the end of the day. And there we go. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.